Hello and welcome. This is the Texas Live. I am Shane Moore.
And I am Sue Ellen.
And we welcome you to this podcast, Open Forum, Paranormal Smorgasboard, and whatever is on your mind. If you want to join the live chat, let us know what you're thinking and what topics that you would like to discuss, or comments you may have, personal experiences, questions that we might be able to answer. I don't know. And also,
and I love to hear about anybody's story with aliens.
Yes, we're kind of on an alien kick.
Experiences, dreams.
Get this sound turned down. Okay. All right. And just
in honor of Area 51.
Area 51. Yes.
Shout out from Las Vegas.
That
in the house.
That Area 51 raid. Well, that was a big success, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, wow. You had 100 people show up? There were supposed to be 3 million.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, there's supposed to be 3 million people to raid Area 51, and I think 100 made it, but yeah, that's a far cry from
100 people. Oh my God! And I wonder how much money they put into preparing.
I have no idea, but not enough. That's just that's really a shame. But it's just like I said, I don't care if there were 3 million people. You're not going to storm a military facility like that. I mean, you're just not going to. Of course, we've talked about on the show the weapons that they have, like the sound waves, and that can literally liquefy your internal organs. Yeah, that's going to turn a lot of people away.
Yeah, when you see lasers go through people's bodies used as weapons, literally just like on Star Wars, that's enough to make me go ooh all over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when I saw those, I think it was the Resident Evil, the lasers and people just having their body parts just chopped.
Yeah,
so easily, the body coming apart like that. That just freaks me to the core. And us having that kind of power, somebody having that kind of power.
Yeah,
and that this is like a reality.
Yes.
It's you learn what the hell did these things called parents bring me to?
Yeah, and too, you have to think about that power in the wrong hands. I mean, it's whoa.
Well, you don't have to think about it. Look at the world. It's run by Biff from, Back to the Future.
Right. Yep.
Biffitus Maximus.
There's let's talk a little bit about that. Not that I remember that much about that movie, but it turns out that there was a lot of things that came true as far as the technology part. What was that board that Marty was riding? That hoverboard. Now we have them. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
We don't really have them though. Not well, it took a long time, and they're not hoverboards like that yet. They're in no way.
Really? Well, I happen to.
They're not?
Well, I happen to have one here that I ride all the time. I'm kidding. I wish. No, actually.
Give it to me, man. I'm waiting for I'm going to have my witch's broomstick.
Actually, Actually, there are. There was one. Was a guy that was. Well, they have these jetpacks, like backpacks that have like literal jets on the back of them. You know, of course not rocket jets or whatever, but it's enough to lift you off the ground, and you can fly. Like you're standing up, you can fly, and I'm like, "Hey, Tina, so glad you joined us. Long time no see."
Hello.
It's I told my mom, I said, "I've got to get one of those," and she goes, "Oh my God, no." She goes, "I know you would get it, and you would just be flying around everywhere." And I said, "That's right, I would be, but I would have to get me a cape first."
Oh yeah.
Just to mess with people, you know.
Oh, a cape. Oh, that would be
a cape. Yeah.
That would be a must. I think.
I'm not going to go out there without my cape. Nope. Plus, I'm scared of heights, so.
But listen, it's got to be made out of like invisible material. So only when the light catches it in certain ways do you see it.
Yeah. Watch me get shot down by anti-aircraft missiles. Yeah. Nope. I don't have any desire to play Neo dodging bullets, so.
It's invisible.
Be some, farmer out there and be like, "My God, that's a UFO." It gets this 12 gauge or, it's 30-06 and starts shooting at me. I'm like, whoa. Nope. I've had nightmares like that, so. Some farmer chewing beach nut, he's like, "I bet I can blow that thing out of the sky." I'll be like, "No." Anyway, yes.
Is that what they call it? Duck hunting? Or
or
when you throw those things in the air and you say something and
I would be a sitting duck.
Play.
Absolutely. Tina says, "Have you not seen The Incredibles? No capes." Laugh out loud. I did see the first one, but I didn't see the second one or whatever. So, but...
Hey, in all my lucids, I never had a cape. I just flew.
Well, me either, but if I had my choice,
Once I was on a magic carpet.
I would want a cape. It's just something I would just want. And a big S, on my chest wouldn't hurt either, but I'm just saying, Anyway.
A cape coming out of a real nice leather jacket.
Right. Well, tonight is just like open. Anything you want to talk about? Tina, do you have anything that topic that you want to... Tina's sharp. She's in the know. And I really appreciate her.
Let's hear some stories.
Yeah. Tina's had some experiences. As far as UFOs, we're kind of on a UFO kick, and Tina happened to have an experience where she saw some big UFOs, or orbs, if you want to call them that, and some other things. And
really?
Tina, if you're comfortable with me talking about that, I will, but if you're not, I won't. But okay, thank you. Tina lives in Oregon, and she lives way up in the country like I do now. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tina. So I'm just going to tell it best as I remember it. I'm 51 now, so it may not be like as good as when I was younger. So I'm kidding. Anyway, she looked out and she saw these orbs that were literally the size of Volkswagen Beetles. Huge. And they were all over the place. And they were like bright orange and I believe she said vibrant colors. I think you even showed me a picture of those. And I don't remember how you said that you felt when you saw them. if you felt threatened, or if you just felt uneasy, or if you were neutral or what. But definitely something was there, and it was very strange because it was like on her land, very, very close to her like front yard, if you want to, and very low. I mean, this wasn't like some weather balloon or something like that. I mean, it was, and there were more than one. I mean, it was many, and but the land that she lives on has quite a history, and I forget what that history is, but it has to do with violence, tragedy, and death. So very strange.
Oh, the usual suspects, huh?
Right. And I guess I can. My best bet would be that it would be. See, Tina says, I woke up at 3 a.m., went outside, and it was like a portal open. 3 big ones. Whoa, portal. Yes, that's...
We've been talking about those.
Portals.
Portals to hell.
Yeah, these were more like, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, these were more like, would be, dimensional portals, like... time travel, if you will, or maybe parallel realities,
like wormholes.
Right.
Like wormholes. Tunnels.
I think that if
Tina,
walked
a portal
out,
is just a doorway to that, and the portal is just a doorway to that tunnel, right?
Right. Well, it's kind of like the event horizon of like a black hole.
A portal to a wormhole.
Once you step into it, I mean, you're in it. She says there were thousands of little lights, like they were the army. She says, yes, interdimensional. And so for that to happen, where she lives, and she says, or a space fold, which would be would take so much energy to fold, the fabric of space-time. It's unlike that movie Event Horizon, where Sam Neill says he says, you travel the universe, he says, light years. He says, or he says you travel instantaneously, and he takes a piece of paper with the 2 dots, and he folds it, and he puts the dots together, and he takes a pencil and he pushes it through. He pushes it through those dots, and he says, that's what folding space-time is. Oh, man, it's creepy. Event Horizon is creepy.
I've heard scientists do that and talk about that. Event Horizon, I'll have to watch that. I've heard of it. I can't believe I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Enjoy the nightmares. Sam Neill knocks the ball out of the park on that. Very, very creepy. Sam Neill is creepy anyway, if you ask me. I mean, just the guy played, Damien, the adult Damien, and I don't think they could have picked a better guy. I mean, he just number one. I mean, I'm not making fun of him or anything. I mean, I think it'd be cool to look like Sam Neill because he has incisors, like natural. Like, you would not want to tick him off, have him, bite you. Matter of fact, he played in that movie about the blood. I believe it was like the Rh negative blood with Ethan Hawke, and it was called Night Walker, Daywalkers. Sam Neill, Ethan Hawke, and Daywalkers. And matter of fact, I'm going to look that up real quick. I'm going to read you the synopsis of the movie. It's really interesting, and to say the least. And it is about vampires. Okay, that they walk the earth, or they walk somehow they get like a genetic mutation or change to where that they can walk in the sunlight, during the day. It says, 10 years after a plague turns most of the world's population into vampires, a critical blood shortage causes panic and gruesome mutations among the reanimated. Edward, Ethan Hawke, a vampire hematologist, tries to develop a blood substitute when he meets Lionel, William Defoe, and Audrey, Claudia Carvan, two fugitive humans who claim to have a possible cure. Edward casts his lot with them in the hope of perfecting the cure before it's too late. And it's really strange because here's Sam Neill. And Sam Neill plays, of course, the bad guy, But it's about what I just read, of course. But I think there's a deeper meaning because there's a very small percentage of people that aren't infected by this, and the blood, there's a lot of static on that. The blood is very very valuable, like gold, and if these vampires don't have human blood, they turn into like monsters, like huge. It's humans that turn into vampires because they don't have human blood. I'm not really sure how that works, but anyway, if you get a chance, watch the movie and try to read between the lines of a deeper meaning, because it's all about the blood. And it's kind of like arch negative, arch positive, arch null, and Sam Neill, as usual, he provides the creepiness. I mean, creepies are definitely provided, and but not anywhere close to Event Horizon. Event Horizon is let me read the synopsis on that. Maybe we'll be like a Siskel and Ebert.
Not even Dark City?
No.
Dark City was so creepy to me.
No. Event Horizon, I'm telling you.
That was like...
Event Horizon probably give you nightmares. I mean, I'm just saying. When the Event Horizon, a spacecraft that vanished years earlier, suddenly reappears, a team is dispatched to investigate the ship. Accompanied by the Event Horizon's creator, William Weir, Sam Neill, the crew of the Lewis and Clark, led by Captain Miller, Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus, begins to explore the seemingly abandoned vessel. However, it soon becomes evident that something sinister resides in its corridors, and the horrors that befell the Event Horizon's previous journey are still present. And it was made in 1997. And it is creepy. I mean, and one quote from the movie by Sam Neill, when he goes into the Event Horizon, or he goes through the portal, he comes back, he's not the same. I'm not going to give it away, but he's not the same. I mean, he's mangled, his eyes are sewn shut, and come to find out he actually sewed his own eyes shut because of the horrors that he saw, and he's smiling, he's like grinning, and they said, what is it? And he says, he's smiling, just so proud. I'm not gonna
watch it now.
He's smiling so proud, and he says, hell is only a word. And I'm like, whoa, man, he could have said anything but that. I mean, that was really creepy. Hell is only a word. And he's like laughing about it. I'm like, whoa. Of course, if it had been like Pee Wee Herman, it would have been funny, but Sam Neill saying it, it's like, yeah, just ordered some nightmares there.
In the beginning was the word.
Very creepy.
Why do we say hello? every day? And why do we say good morning every day? I think that we're already could be in hell, like the movie The Others.
Well,
We don't know that this is
what
really,
would
or we're ghosts. This is the afterlife. We are dead, and we
what
don't
about
realize.
good
We're just
morning? Though I don't
recreating all
see
these
how
things to make ourselves, while we're in denial of it.
I don't see how good morning would be. Of course, I can see hello, or hell, but kind of, but good morning.
Well, I always wondered, like, stuff, even when you say bless you, because it says be bless you. Because kids are taught, like adults don't catch it, but kids are taught to read upside down, horizontally, look at things in all different ways. Their mind does it, so subconsciously you pick up on that. You might not even, and you say bless you, and you're just saying it because it's always been said, but inside you're getting that message: be less you, be less you.
Right.
There's still, it's like a play on words.
Be less.
About
right.
English being the English, the language of the angels, and it
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Sword, first.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. As far as
completely.
English, there's a little village.
We wouldn't even know if our grandma spoke a different language than we did. I mean, or our great grandma. I mean, little generations passed, and some families not even very close we wouldn't know. I mean, we just wouldn't know what has been changed, and that nobody knows, those Mandela effects or whatever.
There's a small village in southwestern France called Rennes-le-Château, and there was a priest there that was called
everything goes back to that place.
It was called the Billionaire Priest, and his friend who was a priest of Rennes-les-Bains, I believe. Rennes-les-Bains. I'm not too good with French, but anyway, he wrote a book called The History of Languages, or something like that, the Cromlechs of Rennes-le-Château. And he said that the megalithic structures held certain clues to the original language, and like Sue Ellen just said, he said that it was his theory that English was the original language, and that it was actually Anglish for the angels, the language of the angels. Now, when you read about certain things in Jewish literature, ancient Jewish texts and everything, it talks about Solomon in the language of the birds, or the green language. And what that is it's basically a play on words, where those in the know, as far as that know how to speak that,
like whole and holy,
and
and holy. There's another two that do the same thing,
and it's called cant, C-A-N-T, cant. And where is it spoken? Southwestern France, northern Spain, where the Basque people, which is the highest percentage of Rh negative blood, reside.
Mm-hmm.
And the Basque language, they don't know the origin of the Basque language. It's still unknown to this day. It's very different from all other languages. Very strange. But
wow.
Yeah. And
we should get in here and look up some of the words, the Basque words.
Well, as far as
I don't think I've ever heard it spoken.
As far as it's not called Basque, it's called Euskera. Euskera or something like that. It's Skera is their language. Skera. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I believe the spelling's right. But there's a college in Nebraska, I believe, and they have an entire group, an entire team section of that college that their main focus is the Basque people and their language and their origins.
And here in Nevada, University of Nevada is the same thing.
Okay, well, it's Nevada then.
Main studies is the Basque studies. Yeah.
I said Nebraska, it's Nevada. Okay.
Yeah, where I keep bumping into Rh negative people every day.
The
literally
in that certain place, the percentage of Rh negative people is like 40%, and the world is like 15%. So that's a huge conglomeration. I mean, that's a huge concentration of Rh negative people. And
yeah,
and
they say that the Basque language originals date back to the
back when? Hello? I think we might have lost. So you're still on, but okay, she can call back. I believe that they've not been able to match the language to any known root, which is very strange. That's the only group of people that they're in a class by themselves. I mean, very strange. And their blood type is Rh negative, different, and so, and like I said, Sue Ellen said, what I have found in almost 20 years of studying Rennes-le-Chateau in that certain area is that it is a very special, very mysterious place, and it's been said that some people say it's very evil, or some people say it's heaven on earth. Well, why the conflicting feelings, what people feel, what people experience there. But it's been said that what you bring to that area, talking about Rennes-le-Chateau, what you bring to that area is magnified tremendously. So if you bring negativity, then it's going to be magnified. If you're evil, if you're a bad person and you have bad intentions, then that's going to be magnified. And if you're a good person, if you have a good heart based in love, then it would stand to reason that it would be heaven on earth, because it's magnified. So I think that makes sense, really. And hello, Sue Ellen, you are on live. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, there you are. But
That was
we were
horrible.
talking about how that what you bring to the area of Rennes-le-Chateau, southwestern France, northern Spain, that some people say that it's like hell, you know. Some people say it's heaven. And it's been said that what you bring there is magnified tremendously. So if you come there with bad intentions, evil heart,
That makes sense.
yeah, it really does. And one thing that I'd like to point out is that in the legends of the Holy Grail, talking back to the Crusades, like 1099, like way back, there were the books that were written, stories that were written about the Holy Grail, and it said that only one that is pure of heart could approach the Holy Grail. Why is that? Because it magnifies what you bring. It magnifies what's in your heart. So,
Right, and imagine what an evil person, what that could do.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why that some people say it's hell, or it's a portal to hell. Well, yes, if you have an evil heart and it's what you bring is tremendously magnified, then yes. And another thing is, there's so many different things about this place, but another thing is that in that area,
We're going to have to do another night just on the Rennes-le-Chateau again.
right, well, maybe several nights, because this is vast. And just for those of you that are listening, I see there's 16 people listening. Oh, I wish you would join the live chat. Am I going to have to pay people to join the live chat? That would be so pathetic. I'm not saying I will, but
We'll go stand and pass cards on the side of the street. We'll pass out cards.
oh, I would. Come on. I know
An
that you
hour
16
before the
people that
show.
are listening, you're awesome. I mean, you've got some good ideas. You've got some good topics you want to talk about. Come join the chat. I mean, we're very down to earth, if you haven't noticed. Very relaxed. We're not going to bite you.
We're having a fun conversation.
A smorgasbord. I mean, come on. Let's be a team. Get to know each other. But on the flip side, if you just want to listen, that's fine too. Thank you. I appreciate it. But that part of the earth has the highest iron concentration, the highest magnetism, the strongest magnetism on the planet. And there is a mountain there. Now get this. It's weird, but it gets even more so. There's a mountain there that Jules Verne, the author, wrote about in his books. Inadvertently wrote about it. Mount Bugarac. And that mountain is, there have been geologists that have done tests there, and there is some huge iron structure that is under that mountain. Some huge iron structure that is under that mountain. But get this, that mountain, they've done tests because the mountain looks very, very unusual. And you can look it up, you can Google it, Mount Bugarac, and I'll put that on the live chat. It is It is very strange looking because the bottom, the top looks older than the bottom. So they did tests on it. They found out that the bottom of the mountain is not as old as the top of the mountain. Now, how's that possible?
What?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
What, do you have, a big giant?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. You can also look at... Okay, I'm gonna talk about a lot of things about this because, Sylvan, you opened the can, so here it comes. Okay, and forgive me if I'm talking too much. Sylvan, pull the reins back if I get out of hand. So.
Let it go.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. There's many people that say the Great Pyramid is it's the last, natural wonder of the world, right? And it is. In its own right, it's massive, it is incredible. But there's another structure that the Great Pyramid pales in comparison to this structure. The Great Pyramid is approximately a little over 13 acres. And I believe it's 600 million, I'm not sure, 6 million tons of, granite that make up the Great Pyramid. Okay, 13 acres. What if I told you that there's a structure in southwestern France that is precise to the inch, just about to the inch, that is an outdoor sanctum, an outdoor sanctuary, a holy place that is in the perfect form of a pinnacle, a 5-pointed star that's pointing up, and each point of that star is a mountain top, a mountain peak, and it is 40 square miles. Now, when you look at different paintings throughout history, you look at the great, painters like Nicolas Poussin, which is the main one, the main painter. I mean, this guy was really talented. I mean, he's up there with Da Vinci, maybe even more so. But Nicolas Poussin, David Tenier Jr., and Guercino, I believe is how you pronounce that. They painted these, paintings, different paintings, with a phrase in Latin, et in Arcadia ego, which translated is, and in Arcadia I, and it's got 3 dots. The sentence is not finished. It's in those paintings, though. It's in the Shepherds of Arcadia by Nicolas Poussin. It is in the I'm not sure if that phrase is in David Tenier, but it's the Temptation of St. Anthony. There's clues in that. And Guercino it's Et in Arcadia is on a giant skull. A giant skull. It's huge. Looks like it's like twice the size of a watermelon. Okay. Arcadia was in Greece, actually Macedonia, and Arcadia was akin to paradise, paradise, heaven, whatever. And so Nicholas Poussin writes this cryptic phrase, all right, and people, they didn't see it, because at that time, if he had, written it out, what would have happened? Burned at the stake. Yeah, like that day. I mean, they would have put him to death. They would have put all of them to death.
Right.
But they were very, very intelligent. Yeah. Beyond even by today's standards. It is incredible. It is amazing, and it's a little unsettling when you think about it, because Nicholas Poussin was in 1600s. Christina, I believe, was before that. Teniers was about the same time as Poussin, I believe. I may be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. But Et in Arcadia Ego is an anagram. Turns out, it's an anagram for.
What?
It's an anagram. It's the same letters, but they're rearranged to form a different phrase, different words. Same letters though. And
like live in evil?
Yes. An anagram is a word or letters that are rearranged to form another word. And that's what you have to understand is that's how these people, that's how they hide things. And when I tell you what the anagram is of Et in Arcadia Ego, it's going to blow your mind, because the anagram of Et in Arcadia Ego is, and I'm going to look this up so I do not get it wrong, because this is powerful. This is very, very powerful. And tell me if you don't get chills when I read this.
Go for it.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to do this.
It's amazing how many things go back to Rennes Chateau. Almost every show that we talk about has in some way gone back.
Right. And
gone back there, gone back to the bath, gone back to the Rh negative, to the blood type.
Right. And I did a show a little over a year ago on Rennes Chateau, and I don't think that I mentioned that Rennes Chateau has been called since ancient times. It hasn't always been called Rennes Chateau. It was once called Rede. And at one time it was, the population was 30,000 people.
The Red House?
Rede. And it was 30,000 people. Now the population of Rennes Chateau is, I believe it's less than 10. It's just a small hamlet, but it is constantly monitored by the CIA, by Mossad, by M16, M15, whatever, by the intelligence agencies.
I bet. I would say, if anything, you would think vampires took over that town. Went from 30 and they chopped it all the way down to 10.
Well, it was also the headquarters for the Knights Templar. So go figure.
Wow.
Very powerful place. Out of every place they could have, had their headquarters or their priory, they chose that place. They chose that area. And Rennes-le-Chateau was the home, was where the Merovingian kings ruled. And people say, well, the Merovingian was in the Matrix. That's just fiction. No, it's not. There's a real Merovingian bloodline. And that bloodline comes from the tribe of Dan. The only tribe that is not mentioned in the book of Revelation. Why? Well, you do the math.
Why?
Well, the Antichrist comes from the tribe of Dan. So when it's all said and done, Dan is the only tribe that's not mentioned. But listen to this. The 14 letters of Et and Arcadia Ego is an anagram of I Tego Arcana Dia, translated as Begone, I conceal the secrets of God. I'll read that again. Now, keep in mind, these painters, they knew what the real message was. But for, what was it, 1600s or 1500s until today, and I would say the beginning of this century, 2000, no one knew.
Nobody knew.
Common people did not know.
Yeah.
Normal people did not know. You had to be part of a secret society, and not just any secret society, like the Priory of Sion. Do your homework on that. Priory of Sion is huge. Right. It is big, it's huge, and it is powerful. Read about the P2 propaganda Dewey Masonic Lodge in I believe it was Switzerland, where the head of the Priory of Sion was also part of that P2 Lodge, is what it's called for short. Anyway, they had ties to the Vatican, and back in the 80s, that's when the bank, the Banco Ambrosio Bank, collapsed, and Robert Calvi was one of the bankers that was responsible for a lot of cash going missing, or they were laundering money for the Vatican, okay? And along this time, there was a document found, led back to Rennes-le-Chateau, called Le Serpent Rouge, which the Red Serpent, the Red Dragon. And there were 3 men that found that in the library in France, the big library, and I don't know how to pronounce that. But they found this poem, Le Serpent Rouge, the Red Dragon, talking about, it's very cryptic. Within 24 hours, all 3 men were dead. They were all dead. And they didn't die naturally. They were murdered. And Robert Calvi...
Oh, 3 murdered, huh?
Yeah, they were murdered. Robert Calvi, he somehow he left or was trying to get away or whatever, and make his way to some kind of safety, but there was none. and he was found hanging from the Blackfriars Bridge with bricks stuffed into his suit pockets, and it was a sign, that he was hanged from Blackfriars Bridge. And if you read into that, there's a lot of symbolism there, the bricks in his pockets, and I believe there was money in his pockets too. So it wasn't what they were saying is this man's greedy. This man betrayed us, but who's us? That's still up for grabs. But anyway, very, very dangerous. I mean, these people don't play. So, but for 400 years, 450 years, no one knew that Et in Arcadia Ego was an anagram for Atigo Arcana Dia, which literally means begone, I conceal the secrets of God. What secrets? Okay, well, Bugarak, the mountain the bottom of the mountain is not as old as the top of the mountain, or is older. I'm sorry, is the top of the mountain is not as old. Wait a minute. Phil, can you help me out? I've got my bearings mixed up. The top of the mountain is younger, so to speak.
We got it. Yeah. No, the bottom.
The bottom is younger.
So the top is younger. The top is.
The top is older than the bottom. So it's like the mountain has been turned upside down. And you can look up Bugarak, Mount Bugarak, on Google right now. Look at the mountain, look at it a certain way, and tell me what you see. And I'll give you a little hint. Gray. Okay, forget the hint. It looks like an alien gray on the side of this mountain.
That's what I'm looking. I'm like, what? Okay.
Now, take that into account, that there is a huge solid iron object that is under that mountain. And in 1999, I believe, maybe it was 2012 also, people made pilgrimages there because they were thinking that aliens were coming back to Bugarak to take them home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did you see it, Swillen?
Huh. Yeah.
It's
you guys gotta get on that.
Yeah, it is really
and graves have been depicted from forever. I mean, if you get into like Gnostic texts and get into the Nag Hammadi, you get into the Aeons, and they talk about the
archons and
that, like the demiurge, the archons, the demiurge, is ruling the earth, and he was created and thought he was the only one, and he was created in Sophia, like
and
an accident, and created it without her male suitor.
And he's the blind god, right?
Essentially, he's Yaldabaoth. He's a demiurge. Yaldabaoth.
Right,
but he's a demiurge. But he's the one who creates. He's trapped everybody into the material realm.
That's the one that is.
He won't go home. He's like the spirit. He's an arc.
Let's see.
Sophia is his mother. What were you asking?
Okay, the demiurge is Yaldabaoth or whatever, the blind god. Literally is
King.
Is what it says. I mean, it says that in the Jewish text. It says that.
Right, because how do you know the end if you don't know the beginning? And if you don't believe that you were born and that something else came before you.
Okay, well,
pretty hard.
Get this. Get this.
See the big picture.
This is huge.
Oh wow, it does look just like a gray alien and even better pictures.
It literally looks like, and this is not some crop circle that somebody did overnight. This is in the mountain. This has been there for a long time. This is huge. So it's, and man, I have a lot of stuff coming to me right now that 20 years of doing this research, and it's like, boom, it's all, hit me at once. So please just bear with me. Okay, Mona, thank you. Be careful.
Bye, Mona.
If you're driving home, be careful, and we will telepathically listen to your comments. But in the vicinity of Rennes Chateau and that outer sanctuary, that holy place that I've told you about, the 40 square mile, there are literally striations, and they're online. You can see these online. The granite mountains have places. They have angles. Okay, I'm getting to the point. They have angles. They have beads, like welding beads, that they're all at the same angle, where the granite has been melted. It's been cut. With what? When you think about it, a laser can't even cut granite, I don't think. But a mazer can. M-A-Z-E-R. A mazer can. But masers are a new technology, supposedly. But they were doing this back, who knows how long ago. But if you look online, and I forget the keywords you put in, you look Rennes Chateau, striations in the stone, you will see it, and it looks just exactly like someone took a huge welding torch and literally cut the stones, cut the mountains. And then when you put that together, that there is this outer sanctuary, this holy place, where these mountain peaks are within like an inch or two of a 40 square mile structure. You have to ask yourself, were these stones cut and moved? Were these mountains moved? Were they cut and moved and then reattached by this technology, by this melting of the stone? To bring it to the point, in the Bible, I'm not preaching to anybody. This is very important. In the Bible, God tells David that he wants a temple built, but that he does not reside in a temple made with human hands. Okay, doesn't make much sense to me, unless he's talking about the human body, which is what he's talking about. But somewhere along the line, David died, Solomon took over, Solomon was tasked with building the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to Tyre and basically hires a man, Hiram of Tyre, which is the Masonic hero.
Hiram Abiff.
Yes, Hiram Abiff. Very good. Hiram Abiff. And who is also called the widow's son. Now, who was Hiram Abiff? I mean, who was Hiram? It doesn't say Abiff in the Bible, but the Masons talk about Hiram Abiff. Okay. Hiram Abiff, it says that he made the Jachin and Boaz, the temple, the columns, and Sue Ellen, we talk about that all the time, Jachin and Boaz.
Mm-hmm.
The masculine, feminine, I mean, and matter of fact, we talk about that a lot. I mean, Sue Ellen has some fascinating things about that. Yeah, the yin yang, but it goes even further than that. I mean, it goes into the very numbers.
Also, the gates. Mm-hmm.
It goes into the very numbers of 9 being feminine and 6 being masculine. Counterclockwise, clockwise. 1 is masculine.
Really, it actually, the esoteric meaning is 9 being the divine, the number of the unseen, the divine, the spiritual, and 6 being the material plane.
Right.
And what we see. So it's the spiritual and the material. It's the dance between the two, and the dot that connects the two.
Well, basically what I'm talking about is when you draw or you write the number 9, you're going clockwise, right? Clockwise.
Right.
When you write the curve 9. And when you write 6, you're going counterclockwise. Okay? Clockwise is feminine. Counterclockwise is masculine. The color red on the
righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Yeah. The color red on the ultraviolet spectrum is along the wavelength. When you measure the wavelength, it's basically like 600, something like that. And the 9 is blue, which is in what I'm talking about, it is feminine. Okay, now.
No, blue is supposed to be feminine, and all the occults, they know that.
Right.
The blue is feminine,
right.
The red is earth-based. The women are always touched. The women give their life to bring life into this earth. So they are more in touch with the spiritual.
Right.
Men are more grounded and took care of things, hunter-gatherer, and they were red, the base chakra.
Red, yes. Adam.
They took care of the foundation.
Adam, the Hebrew word for blood is dam, D-A-M, translated. So Adam was red, he was ruddy, and which also brings me to another thing, wow, this show might go on forever, is that it says Adam was made from the dirt, from the clay, okay? And then it says Adam was ruddy, he was red.
Right.
Okay. When you look at the earth,
Phoenicians,
you see, the Phoenicians were purple, known for their purple dye.
They had red. purple and red.
Oh,
They had red clay, but they made into purple, right? I believe.
they
From all the red clay there that they made it.
no, the
I forgot.
the Tyrrhenian purple was made from a certain mollusk in the sea that only
That's right.
that only they knew how to extract, which is why it was so valuable. Which is why in the Bible it says that they put the purple robe on Jesus and was, saying, "You're the king," and they were bowing to him and everything.
Tyrian purple.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. It's a reddish purple.
Okay. But when you look at the earth, do you see red? Of course you see blue because of the oceans, but do you see red as far as the land? No, you don't. But you look at our neighbor, Mars, and what do you see?
Right.
Red. Okay? Look up your circadian rhythms and type in are human circadian rhythms, do they resonate with Earth or do they resonate with Mars? And they resonate more with Mars. Did you know that?
That they say the last part again? I couldn't hear you.
The human circadian rhythm resonates more with Mars than it does with Earth.
Oh yeah, and they talk about maybe we're all thrown out for Mars.
Right, and that is something that I have always wondered because
on the prism planet.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Earth is a prison planet. I mean, it's like, man. But this is
definitely in a prism.
Mars, you can tell by looking at it. I mean, that there's some bad stuff happened there. I mean, now, when I say bad stuff, I mean, it's just barren. And then they send the rover, supposedly. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not going to say for certain they sent it. I mean, they could have, it could have been a big psyop. But they said they sent the rover. The rover found water. What's necessary for life? Water. I mean, and so it's feasible that there was life on Mars, and they have brought back life from Mars. Now it's microscopic life. I mean, it's not like they brought back a Martian kangaroo or something. I mean, but nevertheless, it's life, and that is guarded big time. Matter of fact, it was when Clinton was in office, and the beginning of that of what they brought back. It's life, but it's like fossilized or whatever, and it can be reanimated or something like that. But the beginning of the code or the index number of that begins with AL, and it's the Mars something bacteria or whatever. And I find that just huge because even as a child, I would look at pictures of Mars and I would think about what the Bible said. Adam was made from the clay and he was ruddy, he was red. And I'm thinking, well, if he was red,
right?
Why?
So you're
Why
thinking
red?
that could be the Garden of Eden that we were kicked out of?
Well, it could be. It could be that I think, I mean, this is just my opinion, that we we have to people say step outside the box. I'll take it a step further. We have to realize there is no box. There is no box. The only box there is the one we create. We create the box with our consciousness. How? We believe there's a box, so there's a box. Your mind makes it real. So what does that mean? If this is a prison planet, then you're basically your own warden, your own guardian, or whatever. And but we're going to have to wrap up pretty soon here in the next few minutes. But this is something to think about.
Past my bedtime.
This is something to think about.
You gave us there's a lot of things to think about.
Think about the flood in the Bible. And I'm just saying, think about it. Ponder this. What if the flood was not just a flood of earth, but it was a flood of space too, even Mars, and that Noah's Ark, although it's talked about in Scripture that it was built of wood and everything, what if Noah's Ark was a type of spacecraft? I'm just saying, and that when the rain started. And I believe that the rain may have been comets, just metaphors, rain as a metaphor. And Noah took his family in the ark and escaped. What if Mars was the original home? And when Noah arrived on Mount Ararat, as the Bible says it did, he actually arrived on Earth. Just something to think about. And we'll talk about that when the next episode, because it gets really, really interesting and amazing. At the implications, if that's,
and we have a lot of other, we have a lot more to talk about.
Much more. By the way,
I like these open lines. They're kind of fun.
By the way, oh, sorry, Swellen. By the way, the blind god Yaldabaoth, Samiel, literally means blind god or god of the blind in Hebrew. So Samiel is equated with the demiurge and the angel of death.
Or Cecilia too, right?
Cecilia? I'm sorry, I don't...
You remember what's Lisa Lamb?
Lisa Lamb was found in the water tank, and on the water tank was the sigil of Samiel. Now I don't know what that means, but it was definitely
right, of Samiel, and also the little girl actress was Cecilia, and that you said that means one-eyed or blind or something too.
Right. It's Cecilia.
Along with having her name having a blind connotation on the water tank, was also a Samael, a completely different name, but the same connotation to the same thing.
Right. So
But that you could never connect.
So
You know
it seems like it always goes back
to... No one ever
to...
put those two pieces together from a movie in real life. Copycat.
Right. So it seems like that everything goes back to Samael, although there's an older name for Samael, and we will talk about that. We'll talk about what the flood might have really been, and that it may not have been Noah that was actually steering the ark. I'll just leave it at that. Next episode. Anyway, if you want to reach us with
thank you so much for watching
topics, yes, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to message us, send us an email at thetexorcistpodcast@gmail.com. Check out the Texorcist Live podcast group on Facebook, our Facebook page, and check out our website on Radio Republic. Just do a search and go there. But if you have any questions, any comments, be sure and send us a message and we'll get back to you on it. Sally, you have anything to add before we close for the night?
No, it's good to be back. Hopefully my voice stays intact, and we keep digging into these subjects. And I think we brought up a lot, and I know we're going to be talking a lot about Renly Chateau.
Yeah.
And I think another segment going into the supernatural would be great.
Well, I think so too. By the way, Renly Chateau throughout history has been called the navel of the universe. So I'll leave it at that also. We'll talk about that next episode. So, anyway.
Orange is the new black.
Anyway, we really appreciate your patience, because it has really been rough getting the internet set up. We finally did, believe it or not.
And you had to do your move, so
yes. Yeah, we moved.
We went through a lot.
We moved, and
a lot of work.
I could not get an internet signal here for anything. I mean, nobody could. So we called Dish and said, look, something's going to have to give. Dish brought out a HughesNet dish, which is twice the size of their regular dish. It's the largest dish they have, and they put it on our house. And so I can proudly say that I have the biggest satellite dish in my neighborhood. And I'm glad, because that's the only way I can get internet.
No bragging there.
Right. But I'm so glad that finally got it. So, anyway, love and light to you all.
And we'll be rocking and rolling.
Yes,
again, thank you. Love, like and subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe on Spreaker, and follow us, and also on YouTube. Anyway, good night, and we will see you next time.